In combat sports, few stories are as dramatic as Alistair Overeem's.
Alistair Overeem!
Rock is hurt. The kick to the body. So much pressure to the body.
From bullied teenager to unstoppable heavyweight monster, then back down to a slim wellness advocate.
Boom!
Overeem's journey is a tale of reinvention, controversy, and the extreme toll that elite fighting takes on the human body. This is the story of a fighter who pushed every limit imaginable. Overeem's transformation isn't just physical, it's psychological. Every chapter of his life reflects a different mindset, molded by hardship, ambition, and the consequences of chasing greatness at any cost. The early years. Born on May 17, 1980 in Hounslow, England to a Jamaican father and Dutch mother, Overeem moved to the Netherlands at age 6 following his parents' divorce. Growing up in Amsterdam, he was introverted and frequently bullied, which led to street fights. At 15, a violent bar brawl left him with facial scars requiring 20 stitches after someone smashed a glass into his face. His older brother Valentine intervened and brought him to a gym to learn self-defense. There, Overeem trained under martial arts legends Chris Dolman and Bas Rutten, channeling his aggression into disciplined technique through kickboxing, wrestling, and judo. At 19, Overeem abandoned plans to join the army and pursued fighting full-time. It was a decision that shocked his family but revealed the fierce independence that would define his entire career. From that moment forward, Overeem was determined to build himself into something the world couldn't ignore. He made his MMA debut in October 1999, winning via guillotine choke in just 1 minute and 39 seconds. His mentality became clear from the start: do or die, never surrender. From those humble beginnings, Overeem would enter Pride Fighting Championships and face the world's best. But his early career would expose both his talent and his weaknesses, pride and early struggles. In the early 2000s, Overeem made his name in Japan's Pride Fighting Championships, known for explosive knee strikes and submission skills. His Pride debut in 2002 was a 44-second TKO victory, and he quickly faced elite competition, including Chuck Liddell. At just 23, Overeem suffered a knockout loss to Liddell in their 2003 tournament fight. He later admitted he didn't know anything at that age. His training was poor, and he had no strength and conditioning program. Over the next few years, Overeem earned impressive wins, including submissions over Igor Vovchanchin and victories that advanced him to the semifinals of Pride's 2005 Grand Prix. His guillotine choke became particularly feared. He mastered subtle adjustments that made it devastatingly effective against even high-level black belts. However, Overeem often struggled with stamina and defense, losing to fighters like Mauricio Shogun Rua, Antonio Rogerio Nogueira, and Ricardo Arona. He later revealed these struggles stemmed from personal circumstances. His mother was battling cancer, and his body was overtrained from fighting 6 times in 6 months. By 2007, Overeem had experienced significant victories, but also brutal knockouts. With Pride's dissolution, he made a pivotal decision: move up to heavyweight and completely reinvent himself.
Alistair Overeem moving up to heavyweight for this fight.
That reinvention would shock the MMA world and create one of the most controversial physiques in combat sports history. The visual change was so startling that fans barely recognized him. His neck thickened, his jawline sharpened, and his presence in the cage felt almost superhuman. Overnight, Overeem went from a talented fighter to a walking science experiment, the Overeem transformation. Between 2007 and 2009, Alistair Overeem underwent a dramatic transformation, gaining 40 pounds of muscle and becoming a heavyweight powerhouse. The change was so extreme that fans dubbed him Overeem, a monster version of his former self. Overeem attributed his massive physique to an intense eating regimen and a diet rich in horse meat, which he claimed was common in the Netherlands and superior to beef for protein. He described eating 8 times per day, before training, after training, before sleep, after waking up. The routine was relentless.
I eat 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, then training. Then after training I eat immediately. Then I go home, sleep. But before I sleep I eat, that's number 4. Then when I wake up I eat, number 5. Then I train again. Then I eat again after training, number 6. Then I go home, I eat big, number 7. And then I eat again before I go to bed, number 8.
The MMA world was skeptical.
There's not a chance in hell that guy was natural.
UFC commentator Joe Rogan openly speculated about steroid use, stating there wasn't a chance in hell that Overeem was natural. Fighters who had competed against the lighter version of Overeem were shocked by his transformation. The whispers about performance-enhancing drugs followed him everywhere. Regardless of the source of his gains, Overeem became an unstoppable force. By 2010, his career career had skyrocketed. He won the Strikeforce Heavyweight Championship in 2007 and dominated opponents like Paul Buentello. That same year, he became the first fighter to simultaneously hold major world titles in both MMA and K1 kickboxing, winning the K1 World Grand Prix Championship against elite strikers like Badr Hari and Gokhan Saki. Overeem also claimed the Dream Interim Heavyweight Championship by knocking out Todd Duffy in 19 seconds. By the end of 2010, he held 3 major titles simultaneously, one of the craziest feats in MMA history. He was hailed as the best heavyweight in the world. With his dominance established, Overeem had his sights set on the UFC. But Dana White wasn't impressed yet. UFC arrival and controversy. Dana White initially dismissed Overeem's accomplishments, questioning why someone fighting primarily in K1 kickboxing deserved a top 10 heavyweight ranking in MMA. White found it hilarious that media outlets ranked Overeem highly despite his infrequent MMA competition. However, circumstances changed. After winning his Strikeforce Grand Prix quarterfinal against Fabricio Werdum, Overeem broke his toe and couldn't continue in the tournament. Contract disputes followed, and Strikeforce threatened to cut him entirely if he didn't fight on their timeline. When the UFC absorbed Strikeforce, Overeem signed with the promotion in September 2011. His highly anticipated UFC debut came in December 2011 against Brock Lesnar. The fight looked like the steroid Olympics. Both fighters were massive and shredded. Overeem dominated, securing a first-round TKO victory that forced Lesnar into retirement. When asked how strong Lesnar was, Overeem said he didn't even feel his strength. He was in such a flow that nobody could touch him that night. Overeem declared he was coming for the UFC title next. His confidence was sky high, and the aura around him was that of a man destined for the belt. To fans, he felt like an inevitable champion until the cracks began to show. But controversy erupted. In 2012, Overeem failed a pre-fight drug test for a title bout against Junior Dos Santos. His testosterone to epitestosterone ratio was 14:1, double the allowed limit. Reports indicated Overeem tried to leave the testing area quickly during the press conference, attempting to avoid providing a sample. The Nevada State Athletic Commission suspended him for 9 months, derailing his title shot. The accusations that had followed him for years suddenly had concrete evidence behind them. The suspension marked a turning point. When Overeem returned, he looked noticeably different, and his performance would reflect that change. The deflation. After serving his 9-month suspension, Overeem returned to the UFC in 2012 with a notably slimmer physique. Fans and analysts speculated that stricter drug testing had deflated the Overeem version. He was no longer the 200 to 60-pound destroyer. He looked more like a normal heavyweight with good fighting skills. In his first fight back, Overeem dominated Antonio Bigfoot Silva for 2 rounds before suffering a shocking 3rd-round knockout. He then faced Travis Brown in 2013, again showing early success before gassing out and losing by knockout. These brutal knockout defeats raised serious doubts about Overeem's ability to compete with the UFC's elite without whatever advantage he'd previously had. Analysts noted that the confident killer from Pride in K1 had been replaced by a fighter who seemed hesitant, dancing around rather than engaging aggressively. Despite these setbacks, Overeem persevered. In 2014, after switching training camps, he earned victories over Frank Mir, Stefan Struve, and Roy Nelson. His resurgence continued through 2015 with knockout wins over Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky, earning him a title shot against Stipe Miocic in 2016. Overeem dropped Stipe early and nearly finished him with a guillotine choke, but was knocked out later in the first round. He claimed Stipe had tapped during the guillotine, but video reviews showed Stipe simply working to escape, adding to Overeem's frustration. From that point forward, Overeem became a respected veteran rather than a championship contender. But he would continue fighting for years, proving his technical skills remained elite. The veteran years. From 2017 onward, Overeem distanced himself from negativity and focused on positive development in his life. He had strong victories like knocking out Mark Hunt, but also suffered devastating losses, including a brutal knockout by Francis Ngannou in 2017, the result of one mistake and one attack too many. Despite setbacks, Overeem remained a top 10 heavyweight, earning victories over Sergey Pavlovich and Walt Harris. His technical striking remained at an exceptionally high level, even if he no longer carried the same power or physical presence as the Overeem era. In his 2019 fight against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Overeem was moments away from victory before being knocked out in the final seconds, a brutal reminder of the fine line between success and failure in heavyweight MMA. Overeem fought for the last time in February 2021 against Alexander Volkov, Following that knockout loss, the UFC decided to release him. Dana White explained that considering Overeem's age and everything happening with his career, the decision was self-explanatory. White praised Overeem as a great guy who never turned down a fight and had an incredible career. After leaving the UFC, Overeem surprised everyone by returning to kickboxing, but controversy would follow him one final time: return and retirement. In 2022, Overeem signed with Glory Kickboxing and fought his old rival Badr Hari in a highly anticipated trilogy bout. Overeem won by decision after knocking Hari down multiple times. However, the victory was short-lived. Overeem tested positive for a banned substance after the fight. Glory overturned the result to a no contest and issued him a 1-year suspension. Doping controversy had clouded his achievements once again, marking a disappointing end to his competitive career. In mid-2023, Overeem announced his retirement from fighting. Around the same time, photos surfaced showing him shockingly slim, a stark contrast to the hulking physique he'd carried for years. Concerns about his health immediately arose. Overeem clarified that he had undergone a significant lifestyle change, shedding 40 to 50 pounds and adopting a vegan diet and wellness regimen. He spoke about his detox program, which included seaweed-based supplements aimed at eliminating parasites from his body. He claimed the diet had improved his health dramatically and that he no longer craved meat. His weight dropped to around 210 to 220 pounds, a massive change from his Overeem days at 260 pounds. Joe Rogan and others commented on the transformation, with Rogan joking that Overeem told him meat was bad, while Rogan suggested he talk to actual nutrition scientists. Now 43, Overeem expressed that he was the healthiest he'd ever been and was focusing on longevity rather than fighting. He discussed the importance of rest, explaining that the body heals itself when you disengage from stressful activities. He admitted that if he'd understood proper recovery during his fighting career, he might have been undefeated. Overeem stated that fighting was no longer his passion and that he had different goals focused on longevity and wellness. He didn't want to get hit anymore after 30 years of combat. The humility in those words was striking, especially from a man once known for his arrogance and brute power. It reflected a fighter who had finally made peace with his own limits. When offered big money to return, he declined. It wasn't about the money, but about his new plans and needing his brain intact to execute them. The saga of Alistair Overeem closes not with a championship belt, but with a contented former fighter finding peace outside the limelight. Overeem retires with a professional MMA record of 47-19, along with 14 kickboxing victories. He was a champion in Strikeforce, Dream, and K1, the only man to achieve that trifecta. He challenged for UFC gold and faced everyone from Pride legends to the new generation of UFC stars across 2 decades. He's been the feared young destroyer, the seasoned tactician, and the aging underdog. He delivered unforgettable knockouts and absorbed brutal ones. Through it all, his resilience stood out. Overeem's life also serves as a cautionary tale about the extremes of professional fighting. He reached unfathomable physical peaks during the Overeem era, but paid a price evident in countless knockouts and dramatic weight fluctuations. He faced scrutiny and scandal, from horse meat jokes to very real doping suspensions that became part of his narrative. Yet as he steps away, Overeem has found something more valuable than titles: balance. From the boy who fought in bars to the man who preaches about alkaline diets and proper rest, his evolution has been extraordinary. Love him or critique him, he remains a fascinating figure in combat sports. Few fighters embody the extremes of human potential and fragility the way Overeem does. Alistair Overeem leaves behind a legacy as one of the most accomplished and complex heavyweights in fighting history. His story reminds us that for those who dare to push every limit, whether of their body or their sport, the journey itself becomes the ultimate prize. What do you think about Overeem's transformation? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into MMA's most controversial figures.